He just wants to move his house. They just want to kill him. Big mistake. Atami Korpi, the man who refuses to die, is stopped by Soviet soldiers. They think it's a routine check. They don't know he's the legend who killed 300 Nazis. When they try to search his truck, Atami doesn't argue. He simply reaches for his knife. The soldiers smile. They have no idea their lives are about to end in the next 5 seconds. He escaped his chains, but the floor is the real enemy. Atami is captured and tortured on a train to Siberia. He breaks free, but to reach the front, he must sneak through a car of sleeping soldiers. Suddenly, a guard stirs and drops a glass bottle. It shatters all over the floor. Now, Atami must walk silently across the sharp shards with his bare feet, but the agony doesn't stop there. They built a wall to stop him. He brought a tank to jump it. Cornered and out of options, Atami finds an old, broken tank. The Soviets at the border checkpoint laugh, thinking they're safe. They stop laughing when Atami packs the tank with dynamite. He lights the fuse, and instead of driving through the gate, he launches the entire tank into the air. It does a mid-air somersault over the border, crashing down on the other side in a ball of fire. The villain just made his biggest mistake. He told the truth. Atami is beaten, bloody, and hanging from the ceiling of a train car. The Soviet commander, Dragunov, leans in. He isn't just any soldier. He's the man who killed Atami's wife and child years ago. He describes it in detail, expecting to see fear, but he only sees fire. Atami now knows his family's killer is standing right in front of him. The pain doesn't break him. It awakens him.
We chop them all into small pieces.
When you run out of bullets, use the train itself. Dragunov escapes to the front of the train, leaving Atami for dead. But Atami finds a military missile loaded on board. With Dragunov getting away, Atami does the unthinkable. He activates the missile and uses its rocket thrust as a jet engine to propel himself forward. He catches up to the villain, and in one final move, he detaches the burning missile and launches it, and Dragunov into the sky. Justice delivered at Mach speed. He's not a spy, he's a firefighter. Gordy is a fish out of water. He's not a trained soldier or a CIA operative. He's a firefighter in the Colombian jungle. He uses his skills to befriend local rebels, but his cover is blown. Now, he's being hunted by the very people he came to find. The hunter has become the prey. Enemy of my enemy. Gordy is captured, but not by El Lobo. He's found by a woman named Selena, a guerrilla fighter who also wants El Lobo dead. She's his enemy, but also his only chance. In a world of betrayal, an unlikely alliance is formed. She can get him to El Lobo, but at a deadly cost. He's not here for politics. Gordy's mission is derailed when El Lobo's men kidnap a group of American tourists. The CIA wants to use them as bait, but Gordy refuses. His code as a firefighter is still inside him. He doesn't wait for orders. He grabs his gear and goes in alone to save innocent people, using his firefighter training. He's not here for politics. Gordy's mission is derailed when El Lobo's men kidnap a group of American tourists. The CIA wants to use them as bait, but Gordy refuses. His code as a firefighter is still inside him. He doesn't wait for orders. He grabs his gear and goes in alone to save innocent people, using his firefighter training. The compound explodes. Gordy and El Lobo are thrown into a raging inferno. But this is where Gordy has the advantage. He's a firefighter. He's not fighting a man anymore. He's fighting the fire itself. In a world of flames, he turns the environment into his weapon, hunting El Lobo through the collapsing building. Not all enemies are strangers. In the final moment, as Gordy is about to kill El Lobo, the truth is revealed. The terrorist reveals that the guerrilla fighter who helped Gordy, Selena, is his own wife. The person Gordy trusted was playing him the entire time. The revenge mission shatters into a web of betrayal, forcing Gordy to make an impossible choice. Justice is served. In the end, Gordy doesn't become a killer for revenge. He becomes a force of justice. He brings El Lobo to the American authorities, proving that the system he once despised was the only true answer. He returns home, not as a victor, but as a man who can finally begin to heal. He learned that true strength isn't just about fighting fire. It's about letting go of the flames inside.
Where's the board? Right here, sir.
The FBI closes in. Purvis gets a tip. Dillinger is hiding at a lodge in Wisconsin called Little Bohemia. The FBI surrounds the place, but a car full of innocent civilians drives away, and agents open fire. Dillinger and his gang escape through the back windows into a hail of bullets. The raid is a disaster, but it's only the beginning. He wasn't a hero, he was a legend. Indiana, 1933. John Dillinger walks into a prison to break out his best friend. No mask, no hesitation. He walks past the guards with a confidence that makes men twice his size step aside. This is the man who will become America's most wanted and the FBI's biggest nightmare. He robs banks like a businessman. Dillinger doesn't just rob banks. He makes them look easy. He vaults the counter, grabs the cash, and treats the tellers with a smile. While other gangs use violence, Dillinger uses charm and speed. The public loves him because he only steals from the banks that stole from them during the Great Depression.
It's called spin the dial.
J. Edgar Hoover has a new weapon. The FBI is barely a real agency, but J. Edgar Hoover wants to change that. He handpicks a young agent named Melvin Purvis to hunt down Dillinger at any cost. Purvis is smart, relentless, and willing to use new technology and new tactics to catch the man the papers call public enemy number one.
Pretty boy Floyd? You're under arrest.
The one rule of the underworld: never trust anyone. Dillinger's luck runs out when a madam named Anna Sage makes a deal with the FBI. She offers to betray him in exchange for avoiding deportation. Purvis sets the trap at the Biograph Theater. Dillinger, unaware, walks into the last movie he'll ever see.
Nothing yet.
I give you my word. I will do every immigration to let you stay in America.
Not enough.
July 22nd, 1934. John Dillinger watches Manhattan melodrama with Billy. He doesn't know that Anna Sage is signaling the FBI from the lobby. When the film ends, he steps out into the alley and into a trap he can't escape. The legend was born in death. Thousands gather outside the morgue. Ordinary people who saw Dillinger as a folk hero come to pay their respects. The FBI hails Purvis as a hero, but Dillinger's death marks the end of the romantic outlaw. The modern age of law enforcement has begun.
This is not a woman, this is a weapon. A single room, a gang of armed men, and one woman with a hammer. She doesn't negotiate, she doesn't ask questions. She moves like a ghost and strikes like an earthquake. Blood covers the walls, bodies drop one by one. By the time the police arrive, the only thing standing is her. This is Suki, and this is only the beginning. She loved once, and then she lost everything. Years ago, Suki was just a girl who loved a man named Jong-sang. He was a gangster, but he was kind to her. They married in secret, but happiness never lasts in this world. Rival gangsters murdered him right in front of her. She held his body as the life left his eyes. In that moment, the girl died, and the villainess was born. She didn't hide, she hunted. After Jong-sang's death, Suk-hee made a list. Every man who helped kill her husband. She tracked them one by one. A knife here, a gun there. No speeches, no warnings, just death. The rival gang thought they had won. They didn't realize they had just awakened something far more dangerous than any man. The government was watching her the whole time. After wiping out the rival gang, Suki should have been free, but a secret government agency had other plans. They captured her, drugged her, and offered her a deal: become their trained assassin for 10 years or rot in prison forever. She chose the blade. They gave her a new identity, a new face, and a new purpose: kill whoever they point at. They gave her a new name and a new husband. As part of her cover, the agency gives Soo-ki a new identity. She becomes a stage actress, and they assign her a husband, another agent named Jong-sang. Yes, the same name as her dead love. Coincidence or cruel manipulation? She doesn't know. But for the first time in years, she starts to feel safe, and that's exactly when the trap closes.
옆집 408호 이사 온 남자인데 연락줄게.
Her dead husband was never really dead. Then comes the truth that destroys everything. The man she married, the fake husband the agency assigned, is not a stranger. He is her original husband, Jong-sang. He didn't die. The agency faked his death. They used her grief to recruit her, and now she has been sleeping next to the man she mourned for years. The betrayal is absolute, and Soo-ki has only one question: who dies first?
그만 일어나 주세요.
This is the greatest fight scene you have never seen. The agency sends an entire squad to silence Soo-ki. She is trapped in a small apartment. No escape, no backup, just her. What follows is a single unbroken camera shot of pure violence. She fights through every room, every hallway, every window. She uses knives, fists, furniture, and even her own body as weapons. When the dust settles, she is the only one still breathing. The final battle happens on a moving bus. Soo-ki tracks down the agency's leader on a bus speeding through city streets, but he is not alone. He has an army of assassins. What follows is a claustrophobic nightmare of blades, blood, and broken glass. The bus crashes. The fight spills onto the road. Cars swerve, people scream, and in the middle of it all, Soo-ki proves one thing: you cannot cage a villainess. His name was Maximus, and Rome loved Germania. 180 AD. General Maximus leads the Roman army into one final battle against barbarian hordes. He fights alongside his men, not above them. His horse charges through fire and blood. His sword never stops swinging. When the smoke clears, Rome has won. Emperor Marcus Aurelius watches from above. He sees a leader, a loyal son, a man worthy of the crown. The emperor chose him, and that choice got his family killed. Old Emperor Marcus Aurelius wants Maximus to become the new leader of Rome. He wants to give power back to the people. But the emperor's son, Commodus, hears this conversation, and Commodus is a monster. That night, Commodus murders his own father. Then he orders the execution of Maximus and his entire family. Maximus escapes, but he is too late. When he reaches his home, his wife and son are already dead, crucified, burned. A general became a slave, and then he became something else. Maximus is found collapsed by slave traders. They don't know who he is. To them, he is just a strong body, a fighter. They sell him to Proximo, a former gladiator who now trains slaves for the arena. Maximus has nothing left. No name, no family, no hope. But inside him, rage is growing, and rage is a weapon. They sent 4 champions to kill him. He was one slave. Maximus enters the arena for the first time. He has no armor, no training as a gladiator, just a sword and a shield. The crowd expects blood. They don't care whose. 4 trained warriors charge at him. Maximus doesn't run. He plants his feet, and then he shows them something they have never seen: a general who refuses to die. He wore a mask until he did. Emperor Commodus hears about a mysterious gladiator who never loses. He demands to see him fight in the Great Colosseum. Maximus wears a helmet that hides his face. Commodus doesn't know who he is. But after Maximus defeats a group of chariots and archers, the crowd chants for him to reveal himself. Maximus lowers his sword, he removes his helmet, and Commodus stares into the eyes of the man he betrayed.
What? And I will have my vengeance.
He didn't bow, he spoke. Commodus enters the arena to confront Maximus face to face. The emperor asks the gladiator, "What is your name?" Maximus looks at the man who murdered his family. He doesn't bow, he doesn't kneel. He walks forward and speaks. "My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, general of the Felix Legion, loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next." He was supposed to die in the arena. Instead, he became a king. Commodus wants Maximus dead, but the crowd loves him. Every time the emperor sends a new challenge, Maximus wins. Other gladiators start following him. They see a leader, a man who fights for something bigger than survival. Maximus realizes he has an army again, not Roman soldiers, but men with swords who believe in him. And that terrifies Commodus more than any weapon. Commodus knew he couldn't beat Maximus in a fair fight, so he cheated. Commodus is a coward. He knows Maximus would destroy him in the arena, so he devises a trap. He captures Maximus's friends, he threatens to kill them one by one, and then he makes Maximus an offer. Fight me tomorrow, alone, in the Colosseum. If Maximus refuses, his friends die. If he accepts, he dies. It's a perfect trap, except Commodus forgot one thing. Maximus has never lost.
Like Maximus the Fear.
The year is 2019, and most of the world is already dead. A plague has turned 95% of the human population into vampire. Blood is now currency. Humans are hunted and farmed like cattle. Society still functions. People still drive cars and go to work. But the sun is deadly, and the blood supply is running out. This is not a nightmare. This is Tuesday. The vampires are starving, and starving monsters are desperate. Edward works for a blood corporation. His job is to find a synthetic blood substitute, but he is failing. The human population is shrinking. Vampires are becoming feral, turning into bat-like creatures that attack anyone. The government's solution? Capture more humans, but there are almost none left. A terrifying countdown has begun. Not all humans are dead, some are fighting back. A group of surviving humans lives in hiding. They are led by a man named Elvis Cormier, played by Willem Dafoe. Elvis was once a vampire, but he found a way to turn back into a human. He is the only one, and he believes there is a cure, but finding it means going into the heart of vampire territory, and the vampires will do anything to stop them. The vampire scientist is hiding humans in his own garage. Edward is not like other vampires. He refuses to drink human blood. He survives on synthetic substitutes that barely work. And secretly, he is hiding a family of humans in his garage. He feeds them. He protects them. He is a traitor to his own kind. And when the corporation finds out, he will be executed. When vampires starve, they become monsters. Across the city, vampires are turning feral. Their eyes go black. Their skin turns pale gray. They lose all human thought. They become flying, screeching creatures that attack anything that moves. The government tries to contain them, but it's too late. The feral ones are spreading, and they are not afraid of the sun. The cure for vampirism is worse than the disease. Edward and Elvis discover the truth. The cure is not a medicine, it is death. When a vampire is exposed to sunlight after being injected with a certain enzyme, they die instantly. But something strange happens. Their blood becomes a cure for other vampires. One dead vampire can save thousands. The question is, who will sacrifice themselves first? The Blood Corporation knows Edward's secret, and they want him dead. Charles Bromley discovers Edward is helping humans. He sends an army of armed vampires to capture him. Edward and Elvis fight their way through the corporation's headquarters. Bullets fly, blood sprays, vampires explode in sunlight. It is chaos, and in the middle of it all, Edward makes a decision. He will release the cure, even if it means killing every vampire in the city.
That's the cure. Welcome back to humanity.
Edward releases the cure into the city's water supply. Edward pumps the enzyme into the city's water system. Every vampire who drinks water turns into a ticking bomb. When they step into sunlight, they explode into glowing dust, and that dust cures other vampires. It spreads like a wave. Within hours, thousands of vampires die, but thousands more become human again. The world is ending and beginning. The vampires are gone, but the humans are free. The sun rises over an empty city. The vampires who survived the cure are now human again. They walk outside for the first time in years. They feel the warmth on their skin. They cry. They laugh. Edward Dalton stands among them. He is human now, too. He looks at the sky. He takes a deep breath, and he smiles. For the first time in the movie, he smiled. Daybreakers is not just a vampire movie, it's a warning. The Spierig brothers created a world where addiction controls everything. Vampires need blood like humans need oil. When the resource runs out, society collapses. The movie asks, what are you willing to sacrifice to survive? And is survival worth becoming a monster? Daybreakers is smart, bloody, and unforgettable. Watch it tonight.
Vampires can never survive. That's the truth.